Henry T, and I am fired up today. And you know why. I promised you I was going to have the new football coach at UNM, known throughout the planet now because of his great story. And believe me, the more we hear it, the more we can relate to the word progress and evaluation and the word terrible, objectivity from the head coach about his team 4 weeks ago. We all got stunned. Coach, what are you doing? Calling your team terrible? And he didn't back down at all. He said, my team is terrible. He never accepted any moral victories. He denied even coming close to one. And I said, gosh, coach is being extreme. Man, it's in his heart. Does he really feel that objective? And he's sharing that objectivity with us from the beginning. Don't give him a moral victory. We're going to get better. We need to improve. We need to work harder. We got to stop dropping balls. We got to block people. We've got to execute better. All those words are part of our vocabulary now. And now, what, 3 games till the end, he used that phrase. I have a terrible football team. And then what happened the next week? They got better. And they hung in there. And they looked improved. And they looked self-conscious about who they were as a college football team. You saw it all, more and more coming together. They came from behind and won a very exciting game. On that night, I've been a Lobo football fan forever, ladies and gentlemen. It used to be a time in the days of Rocky Long and Bobby Santiago where the Lobos would lose, tears would come down my eyes. That night when the Lobos came back and won and broke that long losing streak, and the way they did it and the jubilation on the field and watching Coach Danny Gonzales surrounded by players and coaches, including Rocky Long and all the players, celebration in Lobo land. Genuine tears came down the face of Henry T. The following weekend, the excitement, not only hanging in, but scoring a lot of points. And then the way they did it, when they found a young man named Isaiah, full of composure. I played the position of quarterback in high school. That's one of the biggest words of my coaches. Coach Ottman said, poise. You got to have poise to play this position. Isaiah, there are 4 people that have a first name. You don't even care about their last name. Elvis, Oprah, Mariah, and Isaiah. We don't care what Isaiah's name is. We like just saying Isaiah. It's poetry in motion. It's biblical in the state of New Mexico. You talk about composure. A freshman being put into that role and to lead the Lobos to a convincing run away at the end victory with his composure, his athleticism, and the way the team put their arms around him. Wow, what a story. That night, the tears were pouring. Did you see the celebration? We're going back a few weeks, but we are now joined with the leader of Lobo football, and I told my side of the story. What's his side of the story? And does he recall the quote 4 weeks ago when he uses the phrase, my team is terrible? We bring the new leader of Lobo football on. Merry Christmas to our coach. Happy New Year, Coach. It's great to see you. I reminisced a little bit there. I probably went on a tangent, but any of that, is it relevant?
For sure. Merry Christmas, Henry. Thank you for having me on. Your show is awesome, and I'm very appreciative for all you've done for me and my entire life from growing up in the North Valley and my time at Valley High School and all those things through UNM and now where I'm at. So I'm very appreciative of you. You hit it on the head. I told my guys and I told our football team, it was almost a year ago now on the 17th that I was introduced as the coach of the New Mexico Lobos, a dream come true of mine. I'm honored. I told them in our first team meeting, look, guys, I'll never lie to you. I don't believe in sugarcoating. I think we live in a black and white world where there's no gray area. And I'm going to give you my opinion. It doesn't mean I'm always right, but I'm going to give you my opinion of how I feel where we're at all the time. I don't believe in this generation of give everybody a trophy. I don't believe in a participation trophy. I think you do things, you compete, and you compete to win. And that's the only reason you do it. And in the process of trying to build a program, we've had some disadvantages that we've gone through. Obviously, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and the people that are doing things and making decisions are trying to keep our city and state and country as safe as we possibly can. And it gave us some challenges and to be able to compete. I think our season, as we've gone through it, you can kind of divide our season into two pieces. I mean, the first 4 games was kind of like a fall camp. It was the first time that we were allowed to practice and have actual contact practice. And we weren't very good. And on Thanksgiving night, we played a Utah State team that I thought, going into the game, I thought we were better than. And when your team loses, obviously there's a lot of coaching that needs to be corrected. But we were executing things in a very terrible manner. And we were a terrible football team. I told them that. I told the media that. I told them I'm not going to hide punches. Now, I don't believe in calling players out specifically, individuals. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's coaching. It's our job to teach them and to coach them better. But as a whole and as a group, I think you have to be honest with them. And they know who I am. They didn't bat an eye. They showed up to work the Friday after Thanksgiving Day. And they got themselves prepared to play a very physical game the next week against Wyoming, and they played well enough to win. And I think they catapulted that momentum into a second win against Fresno State the following week. The next man up mentality, I mean, that's kind of cliche, but it's kind of who we are. We're a blue-collar football program. I'm proud of our entire organization, starting from President Stokes all the way down to our equipment managers. I mean, it's been unbelievable the amount of support and the work that people have put in to make the season happen, and I'm really honored to be in charge of the program.
Wow. The development of your football players. We don't know them like you know them. We know them 1 week to the other, one team, one game at a time, and we see the improvement. You don't want us to be that objective and believe totally in that. You want more proof in the pudding. You could feel the accolades in the community. Wow, the Lobos are competitive. What a different look. You didn't receive that well. You understood it because we could see improvement, but that was not acceptability. You wanted more progress.
For sure. I did want more progress. It's what we do. I'm sorry. It's what we do.
It's all right.
And the progress that we made when we're coaching our kids in the meetings, when they do good, we show them and they tell them that they do good. When they do bad, we show them and we tell them that they do bad. I mean, it's a very objective meeting so that they understand what we're trying to get out of what we're doing. We did improve as a football team from San Jose State to Nevada. We made significant improvement. I thought we improved every week other than the Utah State game. I don't think on Thanksgiving Day that we played very well. I think if you tell them the truth, they're more apt to do things right and try and correct them. I don't like the idea when people were telling me, Coach, it's great to see you competitive. Well, it is good to be competitive. It's why we do this. We compete to win. And if you don't win, you're obviously not doing a good enough job. I don't like the feeling that, and I guess I might take it a little bit personal. I don't like people feeling sorry for us. You did good. Pat you on the back. I don't want to do good. I want to win. And so that was the message and that was the temperament that I want our team to feel. And I think as the game went on and the season went on, they started to kind of take that personality on. And I think it helped in the final 2 games.
Help us understand that sort of development, believability, how you build confidence, how they take away the feeling of, hey, we did better too, like you. We're not going to accept it. We want to win. We're working hard here. We have everybody here is on the same page. There are nobody's taking a play off. We're all together now with total effort. How do you develop that attitude?
I think they have to believe in what you're doing as a whole program. And I think it starts way before you get to game day. Everything that you expect them to do in the weight room, in the classroom, in the meeting room, everything has to be detailed. Everything has to be done by discipline. And there has to be a great accountability for it. Once you show them that the work they're putting in and the success that they're gaining, and they start to see, okay, this does work. I am getting better. We are improving. And when you mess things up, you have to be able to point them out. Now, I don't believe in cussing them to death. I don't believe in using MF and all those words because I don't truly think that's coaching. I think there's a time to get after them. I think there's a time that they need to hear more harsh statements or a louder vocal term. But I don't think yelling is coaching. I think our coaches did a great job both in the meeting room and on game day of showing them what our expectation is. And that was my biggest thing when I took this job. Our expectation of how we're going to do things, they have to learn how to do that. And unfortunately, when COVID hit back in March of last year, a lot of things changed in trying to develop that. And I said it in my opening press conference. You have to have a dream and a goal. Dreams only happen if you have a goal and you can chase it. You can't just have a dream and hope. And you have to be able to adjust the path to get there. Well, we had to make a major adjustment come March, and then again in July, and then again in August, and then again in September. I mean, it was a point where our kids kept getting told, you're going to play this day. Well, no, you're not going to play here. You're going to play this day. Well, never mind. You're going to play this day. Well, never mind. And time and time again, I was really proud of our kids because they never wavered. They would get something taken away from them, like the Colorado State game, but yet they still stayed the course with the opportunity to compete. And when we finally got it, we weren't very good, but they kept building and kept building and kept building and kept working and working until finally against Wyoming, they made enough plays that we were able to win the football game.
That night against Wyoming, that's a good football team. That's a good program. Wyoming football for years, when you go up to Memorial Stadium on a snowstorm and be in their environment, that's football country. Football's embedded in those young kids in Laramie. And boy, I tell you what, Josh Allen now starring for Buffalo is true example of how tough he is. And he played up there in those snowstorms. But you beat two pretty good football programs your final two nights out. It's like a rhetorical question maybe by now, but how did you beat those two programs on those two successive nights?
The first one, Wyoming, we told our kids all week long, and I agree with you. I think Coach Bowles done a phenomenal job building that program. I think between him and Coach Brennan at San Jose State, very similar models to what we would like to do here. Coach Brennan obviously started 4 years ago, and they won the Mountain West Conference Championship this year. And that's the number one goal in our program, is to win our 5th conference championship for our school. But that week going into the Wyoming game, we told our kids, this is going to be the most physical game we played. They try and gore you into the ground. They want to hurt you. They want to play their brand of football. They're not going to do anything fancy. They're going to line up. They're going to smash you in the mouth, and they're going to say, stop us. And we challenged our kids all week. When you're going to play a physical game like that, and it's the kind of football that we want to play around here, you have to get yourself mentally prepared from the very beginning. When we started back to work on Sunday, it was all about, guys, it's going to be a very physical football game, and you have to prepare yourself from now until kickoff on Saturday, until the final whistle. Because if you wait until Saturday to start, we're going to get whooped. And they came to practice every day. They showed up. We made mistakes in practice. We got them fixed. We made mistakes in the meeting rooms. We got them fixed. And we got to the game on Saturday. And I think one of the biggest points in our season was the third play of that Wyoming game when Connor Janal fumbled the ball off of Bobby Cole's shoulder. And Wyoming picked it up. We get him out of bounds at the 15-yard line. The defense came in and held him to a field goal. They won. They threw the ball on first down. They tried to run the ball on second down. They got 3 yards. They threw the ball on third down. We make a PBU. We hold them to a field goal. And our football team decided right then and there, they realized, you know what, we're good enough. This is going to be a physical game. No matter what happens, you drag yourself off the field. I mean, if you're playing there practically dead, we'll come get you. But outside of that, find a way to get off if you get banged up. And that was kind of the mentality that we approached, and they took it. Now, from day one against San Jose State to Nevada, all the way through, we were competitive in every single game. The Air Force game where we lose 28-0, we were still competitive. We had an opportunity in the second half to give the ball. The offense had the ball 9 times inside the Air Force 50-yard line, and we just killed ourselves, shot ourselves in the foot, didn't make mistakes. Now you got to give Air Force credit because they obviously played a heck of a lot better than we did, but we had opportunities to continuously get back in that game. Every other game, we had an opportunity in the third or fourth quarter to win the ball game, and we would either shoot ourselves in the foot or we would not make a play when we needed to. But they kept plugging away and they kept believing. And I think that was the biggest thing. The faith they hadn't had any success, but they kept believing in what we were doing. And they finally made enough plays at the end of the Wyoming game to get in victory formation, which is the best formation in football, and celebrate like they did. Now, I told them, dumping water on me on the sideline ain't okay anymore. We got that one out of the way. I wish it wouldn't have happened that way. The next time you dump water on me, it's going to be because we won a conference championship. And you can celebrate however you want to celebrate when that happens, because that's going to be a special night in Albuquerque when it happens.
Wow. Not only a goal line stand, but a fumble recovery, a dramatic way to win it in the closing minutes against Wyoming. You had to have an emotional feeling inside of you. And I know how you stand about moral victories and compliments and getting the water poured on you. But Coach, impulsively, your football fans throughout the state, throughout the country, impulsively stood up and did this emotionally for you. Could you feel it? How did you feel?
It was unfortunately, I'm going to use a word here that it was a little bit of a relief, because we had opportunities and we didn't get it done. I've said it many times, and I truly feel this way. I hate losing more than I enjoy winning, which isn't a great characteristic of a person, but it's who I am. And the ability to win is what drives me in this game, and having that ability. And our kids, they kept fighting. They never wavered from what we were trying to get them to do. Even when we got down 34-14 to Utah State, they fought their way back, and we had an opportunity to make a play on a third down to get the ball back for our offense to have an opportunity to score, and we don't make a play on third down. They don't quit. They fight until the very end. And when Wyoming got the ball, they converted a 4th down and 2, and they got all the way down to our 5-yard line, as you spoke about, with just under 2 minutes to go. I never thought for 1 second to let them score. If you let them score with 1:30 to go, you have enough time to go down there and possibly tie it up and go for 2 to put it in overtime. Wasn't what I wanted to do. I wanted to see if we could keep them out of the end zone and block the field goal. And then Brandon Shook makes a heck of a play on 2nd down, causes a fumble. Jake Saltonstall recovers it, and then we get a 1st down. Now we had to punt the ball back to him and stop him again. But at no point did we waver, because I don't think, especially in building a program. Now, I think there might be time in the future where you have to let somebody score in order to be able to get the ball back and have a chance to win. That's not what we're trying to do right now. We're trying to establish on defense know what to do and how to do it, all 11 to the ball in a bad humor, and keep them out of the end zone. Those are the 3 objectives that we go into every week on defense. And we did that night, and it gave us the opportunity to win.
You dodged my question.
Give it to me.
How did you feel inside in the closing minutes of that Wyoming game? Give me the deep down in the heart, Danny Gonzales.
I was nervous as all get out. I'll tell you a great story. I mean, our kids were so into it. Obviously, with the game where there's no spectators, the atmosphere is different. And our kids were trying to create their own energy on the sideline. And there's 6 minutes to go. We're up. We get a sack, and our kids are going crazy. When we needed to stop, our sideline is like I was at a Pop Warner game, or a Yaffle game back in Albuquerque at 8 years old. Our kids on the sideline are clapping and going, defense, trying to give our own guys energy like cheerleaders. And I thought to myself, this is a Division I football game. I don't know that I've ever seen this. And it didn't matter. At that point, whatever energy we could muster up to be able to win the football game, we came up with. And I was nervous up until the very end, until that clock read 0. Really, it was 38 seconds to go, and I knew we did not have to snap the ball again. We were in victory formation. We had taken the victory snap. When that happened, I looked out on the field and I saw Marcus Williams, our tight end, and he kind of pointed over the sideline. And I kind of glanced over my shoulder and saw them have those 2 Gatorade buckets and thought, no, guys, not now. Tried to dart to the right. They cut me off and they doused me. And I was really excited. I was excited for them, though. All the hard work they put in, everything we'd asked them to do, and to finally see some realization that what they're asking us to do will work if we do it right all the time. Because what we ask them to do is not easy. The expectation that we have for them is very difficult. It's not for everybody. And to finally have some success, I was so happy for our kids and so proud of them. It was just a great moment.
I saw a cutaway on the sideline when you and Rocky looked at each other. You kept your composure, but I thought, man, if I could be a fly on your cheek right there when you and Rocky exchanged that emotion or words after the Wyoming game, do you recall what might have been said?
I do. I looked at Coach Long after we got the 4th down stop where Brandon Shook intercepted the ball. And I just said, I said, congratulations, Coach. I mean, you did an unbelievable job tonight. I mean, our kids executed everything that we tried to do. He goes, Coach G, congratulations to you. This is a long time coming. It's the first of many, and I'm proud of you and happy we're able to do this. And it was just a really cool moment.
Wow. And I don't want to discredit any of the other logos because it's a team effort. I am convinced. But along the way, you found a young, ready to go freshman, 5th on the chart. And we don't care what his name is. We just know it's a biblical name. He's like this brand new young leader in our community. We know him as Isaiah. And the spotlights are on this young man. And he doesn't care about the spotlight. He's team oriented. He's composed. Where did you find him? How did you develop him? How was he so ready to go?
Well, obviously, Isaiah Chavez is a New Mexico kid. He's from Rio Rancho High School. Coach Howells on our staff was his head coach last year at Rio Rancho High School. So Coach Howells gets most of that credit for getting him to our school. I've said it, we're going to recruit New Mexico kids all the way through. Not only the scholarship kids that we offer scholarships to and put on scholarship right away, but kids that I feel that can come in and prove and help, that they can help us win as a program. Maybe we misevaluated Isaiah because obviously he was ready to go when he got called upon and made the most out of his opportunity, and our football team rallied around him. Isaiah Chavez did a great job from the day he stepped on campus in July of understanding his role, of following those guys in front of him and learning from those guys in front of him, not feeling like he was being treated badly because we asked him to walk on. He took it with I'm here to prove that I'm good enough to play at this level. I'm good enough to help this football team. He was our scout team quarterback for the first 5 weeks of the season when after the Utah State game, when Trey Hall got hurt and it was going to be Connor and Isaiah were the only 2 quarterbacks that we had going into the game. He went over there with the offense. And so for the final 2 weeks of the season, he was getting reps with the first team offense, never wavered. We had a package for him against Utah State. He was going to play, against Wyoming, he was going to play 12 to 13 plays. And when Connor got hurt midway, right at the beginning of the second quarter, it became Isaiah Chavez's show. And I thought in the Wyoming game, there was a 3rd and 7 where he scrambled for a first down. And we did not score on that drive, but he got the first down and kept the drive alive. And I think the confidence from our sideline of watching him bounce off of people and fight to get those 7 yards and get the first down gave everybody on our sideline confidence that Isaiah Chavez is going to be just fine. Doesn't matter that he's a walk-on 5th-string quarterback from Albuquerque, from Rio Rancho. It doesn't matter. He's a Lobo. He's here to compete. It doesn't matter what we throw at him. He's not going to waver. And I think he gained a whole lot of fans in the final 2 weeks of the season.
Wow. And what's happened with your relationship or your respect for him as a true contributor to your program, to
You know,
your
I
program?
respected Isaiah last year when he led his high school football team to the state championship. They struggled a little bit during the season, but when they played Volcano Vista in the first round of the playoffs and got after him, I mean, Isaiah Chavez played a great night. Uh, then they win in the semifinals, and then they play Cleveland at home in the championship, and they have an opportunity to tie the game with under a minute to go. They have first and goal at the one. And now Cleveland, give them credit. They made a great stop. They stopped him from getting in the end zone and won the state championship. That did not crush Isaiah Chavez. I think it made him stronger. And I like to tease him and Coach Howells, hey, man, as long as we don't have a first and goal at the one, I think we're going to be fine. Uh, that banner, we have a lot of fun going around there. But Isaiah, from the day he stepped on campus, I had already had a lot of respect for him for what he was able to do as a high school football player, and then what he was able to do as our scout team quarterback. And you could see the leadership, you could see everything. I mean, he would get after those guys up front if they weren't working hard enough and giving the defense a good enough look. He would get after them. He would be a coach in the huddle, and it just spoke volumes about who he was. And when he got the opportunity, even when he made mistakes in practice, he tried to correct them. The Thursday practice before Wyoming, we have a 2-minute drill, and it's the end of practice. Isaiah's the quarterback. He's leading the offense down, and it's fourth and 10 or 4th and 8 something. And he scrambles. We get some pressure on defense. The pocket closes, and he starts running for the first down. And about the 9-yard mark, about a yard short of the stick, he slides. And I got upset, and I'm like, Isaiah, we just lost the game, man. The game's over. This is a 2-minute situation. You got to give your body up. This ain't time for sliding. I mean, and I'm a firm believer that if you do it in practice, you're doing it in the game. You can't just flip a switch. You got to practice until you can't get it wrong. And instead of getting his feelings hurt or thinking he's being mistreated or whatever, he corrected it, and there was no head first sliding on game day. Now, I also had to talk to him too and say, hey, Zach, you know, you're our last quarterback. We need you around, man. So you got to take care of yourself. If we get into a situation at the end of the game where you give up your body, then give up your body. Well, Isaiah Chavez wasn't worried about his body. Isaiah Chavez was playing one way, and that was to win. And I thought in the final 2 weeks, he did a phenomenal job.
Wow. You look in the dictionary now, Coach, for give me the definition of composure. And it says there, see Isaiah.
No doubt.
Does that make sense?
Makes perfect sense. He was as composed as they get.
What is composure at the quarterback slot in tough games like that? All of it on the line. It carries a much bigger word than whatever Webster has. What does it have for you and your team? The word composure, keeping your calm in the middle of the greatest fire of the contest.
I firmly believe that it's training. You have to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations. I think that doesn't only happen on the football field. I think it happens in the meeting room. I think it happens in the classroom. I think you have to put them in uncomfortable situations and see how they react, and then challenge them to be better the next time. And it's not only in football, whether it's with school, whether it's with girls, whether it's when they're confronted with drugs, they're confronted with social injustice. You can't be afraid to speak what's on your mind. You can't be afraid to make mistakes. You have to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations so that when the game is on the line, you don't overreact or you don't underreact. You stay calm, you stay focused, and like you said, you keep your composure. And if you're used to being uncomfortable or remaining comfortable in those uncomfortable situations, it gives you an opportunity to be successful at those moments.
How tough is that situation in D1 football? All of it on the line. He's a freshman. When you see how big those moments are, and he's such a young man, how big are the moments? And how did you get him ready for those biggest moments of his life? And he was willing to give his body up because that little lesson you told about the week in practice, he was ready for it all. How ready was Isaiah for the big moment?
I think some of that stuff you can coach. I think some of it is just who they are. There's sometimes guys that are competitors, and there's guys that aren't. There's guys that live for those moments. There's guys like there's a sign that Coach Long had hanging in his office for a long time. It's a really cool sign about Michael Jordan. He's taken the final shot over 700 times. He's missed the final shot over 600 times. You have to be willing to be that guy to have that success. And you're not going to be successful every time. Isaiah Chavez right now is living a dream. He had 2 opportunities. He's 2-0. If Isaiah Chavez leaves undefeated, that'll be one hell of a story.
Wow.
There's going to be some rough moments. There was rough moments in the game, but he came to the sideline after every possession, asked what he did wrong, asked what he could do better. There's a lot of times that egos get involved. He didn't let his. He's got a lot of confidence as a football player. He's got a lot of confidence as a young man. You need that at that position. And I think that's why he's been successful.
Over the years, me playing the game of football, I wasn't a great football player. I was able to start at Sandia, and that I knew when my last game was played, that was going to be it. But man, it was fun. But I always knew you had to give the total effort. And I always knew the game was a game of hit as hard as you can. It's going to be a violent game regardless, whether you got a weak card or not. The game's going to be violent. You better catch up to the attitude of the game. And I lead to the question, you guys hit. Your personality is being the hardest hitting team on the field. Does that help winning?
I think it helps tremendously. I think you're right. It's a very aggressive, it's a very mean game. And it's why a lot of the kids play it. I think the great equalizer when you play a team that's more talented than you is to physically beat them up. If you can really close the gap in talent if you're the more physical football team. And our mantra around here is the team that plays the hardest, the longest is going to have the best chance to win. We want to get 5 or 6, 7 guys to the ball on defense, and I think that's the big factor for causing turnovers. We want to chase the ball on offense, and if O-linemen have an opportunity to spring the running back loose or to knock him 3 or 4 more yards, knock him 3 or 4 more yards forward. I think those things, by the end of the game, they pay off. Now, I think there's a really, really fine line between playing the way we play and playing dirty. We will not be a dirty, undisciplined football team, but we're going to play right on the edge. If that guy's in bounds and he's coming down the sideline, we're going to do everything we can to get there before he gets out of bounds. If that guy's moving in the pile and on defense, we're going to try and hit that pile as many times as we can before the referees blow the whistle and the play's dead. We're going to be on the verge of being over the line without going over it. And that's hard. It's training. I thought a couple of the penalties that we had against the Fresno game were a little bit too much. And one of them got ejected, the other one on an interception. Well, those are teaching moments to get your guys over there and tell them, guys, we talk about it. We want to be physical. We want to be aggressive. We want to finish things, but we don't want to be dirty. We're not out here to injure anybody. We're not out here to viciously hurt somebody. We're out here to play the game the right way, to be aggressive and play that way. But you have to do it within the whistles. And so we had a couple of those moments that were good teaching moments. But my true opinion is the team that's the most physical, that plays the hardest, the longest, is going to have the best chance to win.
Coach, credibility. You came with a tough word the other night, that one night we were terrible. Tonight we're a terrible team. Your team didn't take it like feeling sorry for themselves. They wanted a pat on the back from the public or reassured that you guys are okay. There was a measurement of their character after your tough words there to the media. They didn't want an excuse. They didn't want anybody to feel sorry for them. They wanted to show you that they were a good football team. Did they, in fact, show you? Was that really the reaction?
No, I think they showed up to work. They didn't feel sorry for themselves, like you said, which was the best thing. I told them after we beat Fresno, I wasn't retracting my statement from 2 weeks ago that we were a terrible football team. we've gotten better. I thought the last half of the Fresno State team, you saw a pretty good football team on both sides of the ball the way they were playing. We still have a long way to go to get where we want to be. We have by no means arrived. Uh, our goal around here is to compete to win a championship and to win that championship. There's still a lot of work to be done. I think what I can proudly say is they know who I am. I don't change. I won't lie to them. I give them my honest opinion. When they're wrong, I tell them they're wrong. When they're right, I tell them they're right. I hold the coaches to the same standards and expectation that I hold the players to, and I hold myself to. Words and actions. I got that from Coach Edwards. Don't say it if you're not willing to do it, and don't do it if you're not willing to talk about it. And I think there's a lot of power in that. And we shouldn't ask them to do something we're not willing to do. So they know who I am, and they know I'm not wavering from who I am, and I'm not changing. If they don't want to be a part of that, that's okay, because what we ask them to do is not easy.
You have a report card on your players and their progress. All your coaches do. They call it evaluation. Do they have a report card on you? They may not be able to say it openly, or maybe that's part of your open philosophy, but you judge them. When you see them look at you, what kind of feeling of respect do you receive from them as they play for you?
I think the feeling of respect is I think the biggest word is consistency. I don't change. We have a plan. We have a model. They've been told from day one what it's going to take to get where we want to be. And we might have to adjust that plan, but the discipline behind it, the accountability behind it, the message, that won't change. And they all can come into my office. My office, I would take the door off of it if the fire marshal would let us. My door's open all the time. And most of the time when those guys come in, we don't talk about football. That's one of the things that I miss as a position coach, the relationship that I had with my 10 guys in my position. A lot of the times in the head football coach's seat, you deal with the knuckleheads, the guys that have done something wrong that they have to come see you. Well, I don't want to be that way. And I think being in a hotel for 42 days kind of helps some of that. I want those guys to be able to come to me with anything. If they think they're being mistreated, let's talk about it. If they think they're being treated unfairly, let's talk about it. My message ain't going to change. I am who I am. I have a great belief in what we do and how we do it. And I think that they would, if you asked them, who am I, they'd say he's consistent. He treats everybody the same. He treats everybody fair. And it's the way we do things around here.
You know, along the way of your development of this team, if you ever recognized a non-total effort by a player, I'm sure there were consequences. What are the consequences for a player in your program who take a play off, who you recognize not giving it their all?
Well, right now, the coaches are the ones that are having to identify that. And so we point it out on film, or we point it out in practice, and at the beginning of when we're back in spring ball, we run extra sprints, we do extra things. When you really get good, and it usually takes a couple seasons and a couple spring balls and a couple of off seasons in the weight room, when you really get good, the players don't allow the other players to be that way. When the players take ownership of how hard and how much effort somebody's going to give, then you have a chance to be successful. Well, right now, a lot of that's still coming from the coaches. So we're obviously still building and still growing into who we want to be. But the peer pressure of your teammates expecting you to be better is significantly better than any sprint or any message a coach is going to give.
Wow. You know, other potential star, to us fans, we call them stars. They're your players. But they get that recognition in the newspapers and television. Now there's other Lobos that are well known in the community, guys that scored touchdowns and made big plays, caused a fumble, your quarterback, etc. You see them growing in the public you see reaction in the public. Man, that is taking another step on the ladder of progress. Agree or disagree?
Totally agree. And I think it's really important. I think we talk about the city of Albuquerque and the state of New Mexico and the University of New Mexico wanting to be a big time place and wanting to do big time things in college football. And in my true opinion, it's going to take everybody. It's going to take the community. It's going to take the fans. It's going to take the students. It's going to take our administration. Well, our administration's on board, and we're slowly growing the community on board. I thought we gained a lot of momentum after our last two victories, but I think you're right. Our kids need to be a part of that community. I think if the kids are invested and people are invested in our kids, then the love and the passion for Lobo football will come back. And I think we've made some headway in that. I want University Stadium to be filled up. I want the 2005 crowds of 38,000 plus. New Mexico State, 44,000 people in the stadium. Those are the things I look forward to. And I look forward to it for not only myself, our kids, our school, but the city of Albuquerque. I mean, I'm an Albuquerque kid. I love this place. And I want Albuquerque to be big time. I want the University of Mexico football program to help sell Albuquerque and the state of New Mexico because it's such a neat place that a whole bunch of people don't know about. And we've got a great voice and a great opportunity to do it.
Coach, I'm going to beg you to take me the distance. I don't have 12 or 13 minutes left here. Will you go to the finish line with me here today?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Thank you. Thank you. The last two games, what kind of catalyst are they for the days to come? You're a visionary man. Because of those victories and the pats on the back and the elation of our community, how about your vision now? 3 weeks ago, you had a vision about the future of Lobo football. What is your vision today?
Well, my vision is still over the time. It's still a marathon. It's not a sprint. We're starting to pick up momentum. We're starting to gain some speed, but we have a long way to go. I think the two wins at the end of the season really helped with a lot of things. It helped our kids see that, okay, everything they're asking us to do, this stuff does work. If we do it the right way and we show up to work and we out physical people and we don't make as many mistakes and we focus to clean up our assignments, we're going to have a chance to be successful. I think if we would have went 0-7, that message is really, really hard to get them to continue to believe and see progress. Well, now they've seen progress. I think that goes both ways, not only for our student athletes, our players, but our fans. Our fans have seen, and you said it, a lot of people are like, Coach, you guys are so competitive. It's so nice to see the fight in Lobo football back. It's so nice. Well, now they've seen, Coach, it's so nice to win a game in Lobo football. Oh, we won back-to-back games since the first time since 2017. Oh, we won a game when we trailed in the fourth quarter for the first time in 35 tries. Oh, I mean, we've got a bunch of doors to knock down around here, and we're knocking them down one by one. And getting that first win and getting rid of that losing streak was one. Winning 2 wins in a row. Now we got a winning streak starting to form. If we can win Houston Baptist next year on opening day, all of a sudden that's 3. We've got some momentum going forward. Don't lose focus of what we've got at task, though. This is a complete rebuild of a program. We'll be competitive next year, but we want to win conference championships. That is the ultimate goal of our program, is to win number 5. And we've made progress, but we still have a ways to go.
You know, I go back to your first game against San Jose State. Look at them, undefeated, with all of this rah, rah, rah going on in their program. They only have half a stadium of bleachers. They've gone through tough times, but you had a chance to beat them on opening night. Is that a measurement of any kind?
No, I think it's a great measurement. I mean, I think that game that you speak of was tied 21-21 in the fourth quarter. We don't make a couple plays on defense in the secondary and coverage. 1, we don't get enough pressure on the quarterback, but 2, we don't make play in the secondary and we lose the football game. The next week against the second best team in the league that we played, being Nevada, we've got an opportunity to win that game, and we give up 3 long passes. I thought we out-physical Nevada that night. I thought we outplayed them. but we didn't make enough plays to win the game. Uh, I thought as we went through the season, we go to Hawaii and we lose to Vaca. We have an opportunity to win that game in the fourth quarter. We lose 39-33. They never wavered from what we were doing. We just didn't finish at the very end. And when we finally did against Wyoming, I mean, we were competitive in all 7 games. We found a way to win the final 2.
Wow. You know, watching your rapport with our governor was really an education for all of us on how to get along with people, especially in a tough, dangerous situation. I respect COVID. I don't want to get it, and I'll do everything humanly possible to avoid it. Well, the governor made some tough judgments early on. You went along with her judgments, never heard one bad sentence or discrediting her or losing your composure against your governor. You just said, okay, well, suck it up. We're going to go play, understanding the circumstances. Man, you talk about composure. How did you deal with that? Your players can't even sleep in their own bed, have a normal evening. You're away from Albuquerque 40 days, away from your beloved wife. She's a man, she's so special, your children. So many stories that you had to suck it up. How did you do it?
Well, the opportunity to compete was very important. Um, Governor Lujan Grisham is a very, very hard job right now. I mean, we're obviously in the middle of a global pandemic with COVID-19. She's doing everything she can to keep New Mexico as safe as she can. I think there's a great message out there. I mean, just like you said, Henry, you're doing everything you can to protect yourself. We need everybody in our community to have that same attitude. Wash your hands, wear your mask, social distance, avoid large gatherings. Uh, I'm I'm a big proponent of all those things. I want COVID gone. COVID obviously has adjusted many things in my life. I mean, I pray that this vaccine gets out there quickly, that we can succumb COVID-19. I'm saddened by the amount of lives that we've lost here at home in our home state of New Mexico. And so I know the governor's office is doing everything they can to keep our community safe. I thought we had proved by how we were testing our athletes, the bubble that we were forming. I thought we were proving that we could keep them safe. And not only keeping our student athletes safe, we were keeping the rest of the community safe by preventing knowing who has it. Multiple tests 3 times a week, knowing if any of our kids came up positive, we had a contact tracing that was identified immediately to quarantine individuals to stop the spread, not only within our football team, but throughout the community. And the idea that it wasn't going to be able to be done here, you have to give President Stokes and Eddie Nunez and David Williams and our administration a lot of kudos for coming up with the idea of finding a safe place. We did. We went to Lake Las Vegas Hilton in Henderson, Nevada. We had 0 positive cases in over 3,000 tests in the 42 days we were gone. We created a bubble. They weren't going anywhere. Nobody from the outside was coming inside of our bubble without being tested. And so we were able to both keep our kids safe and keep our community safe. And I think we've shown that we have the environment to be able to do that and to be able to compete. Now, obviously, I wish we'd have done it here in Albuquerque, but we did it in Henderson, Nevada, where we had to do it. We're still working with the governor's office. I mean, Lieutenant Governor Howie Morales has been awesome. And like I said at the beginning, Governor Lujan Grisham is doing everything she can to keep New Mexico safe. I agree that's the top priority. And whatever we can do to help that, we're going to do. And so I'll continue to spread the message. Wear a mask, wash your hands, social distance, avoid mass gatherings until we have a firm grasp on COVID-19 and learn how to live with it safely.
I'm going to ask you the most rhetorical question maybe you've ever been asked, especially following the great success at the end of the season. What's it like being the head football coach at the University of New Mexico today?
I think it's as it was on December 17th last year. Awesome. I'm honored. For me, it's a dream come true. I mean, I'm an Albuquerque kid. I've been a Lobo fan since my dad took me to my first game in 1980. As long as I've been able to say the word Lobo, I've been just a diehard. I bleed cherry and silver. And so to be able to have the opportunity to lead our program, represent our school, represent our state, I think it's a dream come true. And I'm very blessed and I'm very honored.
How about the potential of Lobos season tickets being sold as soon as you can literally put them on sale? What do you feel from our community?
No, I wish we could have sold them the day after the Fresno State game because I think there was a lot of momentum, a lot of excitement. But that's good. We want people interested. And even the negative comments that we receive on in social media or on TV or on the newspaper, those are all good because it means people are talking about Lobo football. And if they're saying bad things or they're saying mean things that people construe, it's because they care. And if they care, you've got a chance to get everybody involved. It's when they stop caring and stop talking that you're in trouble.
Wow, amazing. Coach, I said it the very night it happened. And you can react to it, or you might say you're just being typical Henry T. I told people immediately that, did you know what just happened? And they're looking around, what happened? And I said, that football team just saved Lobo football. And I included the coaches and the players, and I just said, we just saw Lobo football being saved. And the next week, I saw it as the biggest catalyst we've seen around here in years. Do you agree with me? Is that too much of an exaggeration?
You know,
I saw Lobo football being saved.
I think Lobo football's had some hard times lately. Um, I love this place and I know how special it can be. I've been a part of a really, really special time. So I like where we're headed. I don't want to use the word saved because I don't think we were dead, but it was on a slow heartbeat. And so I'm proud of the guys that are representing the cherry and silver. I'm proud of the coaches and I'm proud of the direction we're headed. Now we've got a long way to go before we do the things that I've talked about and the things that are going to make our community proud. They're proud that we're competitive, but just see how proud they'll be when we win a championship.
Your family is a loving family. How much did you miss your family? How much did they miss you? What's their reaction been watching those victories and finally seeing you at the airport? Dad is home. Give me that closing chapter to our story today.
You know, I'm very blessed. My wife Sandra is unbelievable. She's definitely a football wife. She understands what this job entails. She is my number one fan. She's the biggest Lobo fan out there. She's a supporter of me. And then my four kids are unbelievable. My oldest son, who lives here in Albuquerque, he came over the night that we got home. My second son, who goes to Arizona State, he was home. He was here. My two little girls, when the door opened, were as excited as can be. I mean, it was a great welcoming home by my four kids and my best friend being my wife. They spoil me. They're as invested in this as I am, which is awesome. I mean, my two little girls were on the jumbotron in Vegas, chanting defense, chanting "Go Lobos." I mean, all those things. And so I was so happy to be home. It was hard being away from them for 42 days, but they're my number one thing in life. I mean, I'm very passionate about my faith. God is my first and foremost, and my family's right below him, and they are everything to me. And it was so welcoming so awesome to be welcomed back as they did.
Let's close with that, Coach. Your faith, you're a godly man. You just said it in front of God and everybody how you feel about and expressing your faith. Do you want to close with that today?
But I think I'm very honored with that, Henry. I am very, very strong in my faith. God is number one in my life. I mean, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ is He gave up His life for us. We got to celebrate Him a couple of days ago on Christmas. Now, I really think He should be celebrated every day. We do in our house, and without God and without Jesus, you don't have anything. And He's been very, very good to me. I'm very blessed. I'm blessed by Him with my relationship with Him. I'm blessed by my family, and I'm blessed with my career and the opportunity I have. I truly believe that He has a plan, and I'm just where He wants me to be.
Wow. Herman Edwards, first words from his mouth as he smiled when he talked to you on Zoom or phone, however it happened. What did Coach tell you?
He told me how proud he was. Knew it was a long time coming. Sorry that it had to be the way it was. But he was really, him and Marvin Lewis was in the background. The two of them were just genuinely excited for me. They have been very, I mean, obviously, Coach Long, for the 20 plus years that we were together before as a mentor, taught me kind of everything I knew about football. Moving away and going to Arizona State for a couple years really gave me a different outlook on things. It really prepared me for this opportunity. And those two men, Herm is he's one of my best friends now, and will be forever. I had a really long conversation with Marvin Lewis, Coach Lewis, this morning. I can call those guys at any time for advice, just to complain, whatever I want to do, and they hear me out and give me advice. And so they were genuinely excited and happy for me, and it meant a whole lot.
As we close, I can say from the bottom of my heart, thank you for this very special interview with Henry T today, Coach.
Henry T, you have an open line to me. You know that. I mean, since the time of me growing up in the North Valley and listening to you back on KDEF, when I knew the Vikings were going to be on the radio for football or basketball, we celebrated it. I'd call everybody and tell them, hey, tune your dial to 1450 because we're going to be on. It's going to be a fun night. And so I'm very appreciative to you. Thank you for the message and helping me get Lobo football out there. And thank you for the opportunity to be on with you today.
Hey, go enjoy your day. Happy New Year to you, Coach.
Thanks, Henry. Happy New Year to you, and go Lobos.
Amen. Take care. Thank you. Okay, see you soon. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, how's that for an interview, huh? From the bottom of his heart, did you feel his sincerity? Did you feel his commitment to what you're going to enjoy for many years to come? Oh, the measurement of how much it means to him and his Lobos. Rerun this show and watch it again. This will be a rewatch, a rerun, an encore, because that was like a pep talk, being in his locker room. Man, I'm telling you, get your tickets as soon as they go on sale and send a nice little message to our governor. Maybe next year we'll have our opening game right here at University Stadium. Would that be a blessing? Oh, man. And it'll be full. 40,000 seats packed. Well, that team gave us a reason to go get our tickets. And I'll tell you what, I feel that catalyst working in me today. I'd do anything to broadcast that first game, even if it's over in the corner pretending that I'm on the air. It's a new beginning around here. And Lobo football, ladies and gentlemen, is in fact the talk of the town. Ooh, wow. I'm going to rerun those games today, the final two of the season. I'm going to rerun this interview, and now I put Coach up there with Newt Rockney and the great pep talkers of our time. And today was one for me to improve me, Henry T., as a broadcaster. Never take a down off. Give it all you've got. Oh, man, what a moment. I'll say goodbye. Happy New Year. See you next Monday. And again, thank you to Coach. What a blessing this whole experience has been today. Thank you. Henry T say bye for now. See you next Monday. Thank you.